Okay, hello there, I'm Dennis. Welcome to my channel. And in this video, we're going to journey into Brazil, an operating system designed, put out in the country of Brazil, South America. Let's just start right here on their website. If you go to DistroWatch, it'll list it at 76, and I believe it's dropped about 5 or 6 since the other day when I looked. It says BrOS is a Brazilian Linux distribution based on Ubuntu and featuring the KDE Plasma desktop. It is designed as an intuitive, easy-to-use, general-purpose operating system for web navigation, and this is what caught my eye to start with, was content creation, what I'm doing right this moment, providing a selection of useful applications for daily use. Well, that was not my experience. The stuff that I use for content creation, I believe I installed everything on here that I use, which was basic stuff. OBS, Kdenlive, Audacity. Anyway, if you click there, it says it's Debian Ubuntu, or origin is in Brazil, and desktop is KDE Plasma. So let's click right there. When you get to their home page or any of these pages, you'll have to translate it to your language. In this case, it was translated to English. Freedom with limits is not freedom. How true is that? It's easy to use. If you ever used any version of Windows, you will also know how to use BrOS. I'm going to start calling it BrOS. We use a slightly modified version of KDE, which makes the system incredibly intuitive and easy to use. Lightweight and fast, and free of charge. Alright, this button right here will lead you to the download, as well as this download there. It'll bring up another site. Once you translate it, you can click on, you can get 3 different versions here. The regular version, which is what I installed, which it's at the top here. Most people are going to just click right there. And you do have a LTS version, which is supported by 2 years with them. And then you got the BrOS DE 12.5. It's an older version, but it's based directly on Debian, it says. Built directly on Debian. So it's older version, but it's probably like their stablest, most stable. Every reliable project has a safeguard, and that's ours. So, alright. I believe that's all I needed to show there. You go to tips here. It says one of the change logs they made was they took the single click opens to a single click selects, and to me that was bravo. If you go down to the tips here, you can see that it comes installed with a program called WinScribe VPN, which helps you with the VPN. Now, here's another thing that caught my eye, and I'll show you this thing here. I'll show you the problem and the solution real quick in VirtualBox. If you prefer VirtualBox, in VirtManager, it just installs. You don't have any problems. I can't say one way or the other in boxes, but I'm assuming because VirtManager installed it, so would boxes. It says here, just switch from the VM SVGA, which is usually the default setting, to the VBox SVGA. But I'll show you. I'm going to do that right now. So if I go to my downloads folder, you'll see I have BrOS desktop right there. So let's go find VirtualBox. And I did find the workaround, and I think what they really meant. So let's go new. Now normally you would just go BrOS. Oops. What did I do? Turn cap locks on? Nope. And in this case, I would select Ubuntu after it so that I wouldn't have to do this, but you can right here, Ubuntu. You could change that to Debian. I'm going to go ahead and put in the ISO right now. And we'll select it out of the download. Now, it'll freeze. Oh, it didn't select it. Yeah, it's froze. And I'll usually get an error. Here it is. Failed to set the global VirtualBox extra data for key, GUI, recent folder, etc. So I'm going to say OK, and that's it. You can't do anything else. I'm going to close that out. Now here's the workaround. We'll go to New, and we'll call it BrOS. We'll go ahead and give it a subname of Ubuntu. Reset. I don't want to do that. What happened here? Just messed my virtual box up altogether trying to do that. Let's see here what's happening here. Okay. All right, close out. Thank you. Let's open it back up. Maybe it cleared the error. We'll go to here and say new. And again, we'll say BrOS. Give it the subname of Ubuntu. Not going to select the ISO image at this point. We are going to continue on here. Hardware. Here I can only give it 4096. Whoops. Let's give it 2 cores of the processor, and we're going to enable EFI. And for hard disk, it's set at 25. I'm going to leave it right there. Now we're going to click finish. And there it is. So first thing I'm going to do, and he does recommend you turn this all the way up on this page right here. Turn that all the way up. But he says change this. I didn't change it, I don't think. Let's find out. Let's go to the settings. We'll go to storage, select empty, and let's find that ISO. And there it is. All right, you see everything's good to go. And it loaded up and everything. So let's just start it real quick. And I'm not going to install it. I've already installed it. But you can see here it's going to boot up. Now we don't get that error. And the way I read the website here, it's not right. First of all, you can turn your video memory up higher than that. And if you choose your ISO in the beginning, it'll fail. Just like I just showed you, it failed. Not only failed, it locked up the system. So, okay, so you download, you click there, and it's going to carry you to SourceForge. Now here you're not going to find, or at least I'm not finding, a translate for this page. Maybe one of you might know and tell me how to do it, so I'll know. If you go to files here, you'll see the different versions that we were talking about that comes available in. Here's an about. It's Brazilian Northeastern Maranhães with pride, but you can see that right there. A system for the people, free and quality. It says to use their guide, but here there again it won't not translate to English, and I'm not sure why. Their changelog doesn't. We're running 2410, I believe, and the changelog hasn't made it up to date yet. Here is the Kubuntu website. So if you do need support in this fashion, here's where you'd probably want to go to get it. Here's how you get on the mailing list for Ubuntu if you're interested in that. Someone just minimize this, and let's bring up a terminal. And we're going to run screen fetch, and then we're going to cat the XeOS release, and then we're going to run Inchi for the graphics and the audio. So here we got Ubuntu 2410. That's what I thought. Okay, name is Ubuntu. ID is Ubuntu. ID like is Debian. And why didn't Inchi run? Oh. Because I didn't do the right command. Let's just do that over again. Up arrow that back. Slide over 2 and give it a hyphen. Now let's see what it says. There we go. So we've already come down to here. In graphics, I tried my best to use Wayland. And I tried this video 3 different times. And in each time I would get different errors on the playback. It would be video glitching. It would be audio glitching. It just 3 different times I tried to make this very video, and I just said I can show you some screenshots where I took screenshots, for instance, in Boko Screen, Simple Screen Recorder, OBS Studio even, that saying that it wouldn't work or with certain functions wouldn't work. So I just went back to X11 the other day, and I've been happy ever since. One of the things, for instance, that it would do, before I get any further, okay, so if I unminimize this, instead of just coming up clean like you just saw it, it would come up. It would come up and just like bounce to wherever it seemed to want to. And since I switched back over to X, it hadn't done that. It is running Pipewire, and I really don't have any complaints about this, about the Pipewire. So let me bring up my notes here. This is KDE Plasma 615. We can see all of this if we go to the menu, type in info about this system, and it'll tell us all of this. Same thing you're going to see here. The Wayland and the X option, when you boot up, before you can log in, before you actually log in, down at the bottom left hand side you'll see where you can change from Wayland to X11. Alright, Kubuntu, country of origin, apparently it's Portuguese. The best I can tell, the very first release of this was just a little over a year ago. This is 2024, near the end of it, so a year and a half. Here's those web links, web pages. I'll make sure they get in the description below. Here's some of the stuff that I just read to you. Here's the thing about VirtualBox. Now, I did install it in Virt Manager, and I did record it, but instead of showing you the entire recording, I got it set up in, what's it called, WinView? Let's find out. Somewhere. That's it right there, yeah. And we'll run through that real quick. Especially at the very end, you're going to get an error. I did in 4 different occasions. I got this error, and I'll show it to you. So your first boot up screen is going to be try or install. Both of them will lead you to the same spot. Let me see if I can make this a little bigger. Oops, I could if I was getting on the right screen, I guess. There we go. Try or install. Next screen will be Kubuntu. This is also where you could your Ethernet connection. If you wasn't on an Ethernet and you had Wi-Fi, I feel certain that you could, if it was detected, it would show up here and you could connect to it. I clicked on try, and I come up, and this is the first screen on a Calamaris installer. I looked in the start menu, typed in installer, and it said install system, and this is what comes up. And you can see this is all in English. So let's go to the next one. This is all in English. Select your location, time zone, your keyboard, all in English. Now here, when you get to this screen here, it's going to be that by default selects normal installation. But as you'll see on my next screenshot, I selected full installation, and then I got whatever these programs are for the Ethernet, Virtual Machine Manager, as well as Krita. So only just really 3 little programs you're going to get between the normal and the full installation. In hindsight, I could have just selected normal and did it myself. But that would be up to you. If this was the first time you're running it, select full, like I just did here. All right. Then after you get that one, we're going to select manual partitioning. Here's the partitions that I ended up with was 1 gigabyte FAT32 for the boot EFI. I gave it 4 gigabytes of swap. Now it's going to depend on your system, and the remainder of it I gave to the root partition. Next, here's your opportunity for your username and a password, and also can log in automatically if you select to, if you choose to. All right, next. Here, this is giving your final chance to back out or install it. I clicked install now, and the first cards all of a sudden now are all in Portuguese. If you go to the next one here, I'm going to select this little button right here, decal, whatever that is, it's called. We'll go to the screen that shows you everything it's doing, and we're back in English. So that's pretty nice. All right, so next, here we get to this system fail that I just talked about. I'll move that over. Command I, snapseed, glue, seed, Calamaris root, snapd, seed element, desktop, finish with exit code 1, output, etc., etc. You can pause this and research this if it means something to you. But what happened was I just went ahead and, most people, when they see this installation failed, they just say, well, that's it, next. Well, I rebooted, and we'll see that here, right here. This was my first boot. I signed in. Now, I am running Wayland at this point. No, this was, Wayland. That's because this is the virtual box. So I run a sudo apt update and a sudo apt upgrade. And you don't see it here, but I did after I made that correction right there. It said, who am I? Showed me as my user. So my user and my user account, all that was up there. Apparently it did not fail. So when you get that failing message, just ignore it and reboot and see what happens. That's what I did, and it seems to be working. Okay, so we got past the virtual box install. I keep getting this message here. Where did I put that message? Right here. All right, this one right here, and another one. This was that simple screen recorder. It was saying I'm using a non-X11 Windows system. It would record audio, but it wouldn't record video. No, it was just a black screen. So I got this message a bunch. It did give me a workaround. The first time I saw this was a little bit different. And it told me what to do. I went to do it, and it didn't change for a while. But a couple days ago now, I've installed this probably 10 days ago. It wasn't long right after I posted. It was actually before I posted my last video with the Laya OS. So anyway, the first screen you're going to get, it's going to give you a workaround, tell you what to need to do. Just go to that setting and change it. And if you're like me, it'll go away eventually. Okay, I should have had that up. I'm sorry. All right, so drag this over. Get through with this pretty quick here. First, let me bring up, did I install System Monitor? I did. Oh, let's look at the file system. It's used 36.1 gigabytes, and I've got all of the software that I would require you to use installed, so that's pretty good. Right now, with all the stuff I got going on, let's look. 3.5 gigabytes, that's with all these tabs still open from Firefox and OBS Studio running and Featherpad. So that's not too bad. Some of the cons, the installer, I showed you, it says it fails at a cold boot, which I took a picture of that too. It was showing HTOP. When I first boot up, run HTOP, it shows 1.24 gigabytes. In my experience, I think that might be a little high for a KDE Plasma desktop. It said in the description that I'd read you on, it said it was made for creators in mind. Well, we'll go through the menu here. That's what I needed to do. One thing that's good, the UFW firewall is enabled by default, and I thought that was pretty nice. It does seem snappy, and the only crash I've ever had involved VirtualBox trying to insert that ISO to begin with, like most people would do. It comes with WinScribe, which is a virtual private network service that helps protect your online activity and browsing habits. I mean, if you use VPN, this might be something you'd be interested in as well. I'm going to minimize this. And actually, let me close these. Let's look at their menu. Under development, it's got known boxes I installed. Kate was installed by default, so was Notepad QQ. Games, I installed a few just to have something to do while it was doing other things. Under graphics, I'll name it, rather than name the stuff I installed, I'm going to name the stuff that I did not install. Darktable, GPic, GwenView, Inkscape, no, I did install it. ImageMagick, I did not install. Color Paint, I did not install. Oracular, Scanlight, and ScanPage. Now, out of those few choices that was in here by default, there's not a lot. There was not a lot for content creators. Under Internet, Firefox came in by default, as well as LibreWolf. QBitTorrent, I installed that, I do believe. There's that WinScribe. Under multimedia, once again, this is the stuff that was by default. Ardour, a music player. Elisa, another music player. The Haruna media player. 3 media players. WinFF and Xwayland. I mean, that's just not content creation stuff. I mean, it might mean something different everywhere else, but right here, when you say content creator, to me, I think I'm doing exactly what I'm doing right now. Now, some people get really good at it. I'm not saying I'm good. It does not come with LibreOffice. It comes with the OnlyOffice desktop editor. Settings, I didn't do anything in there. Let's see, Featherpad, PCman FM, hard info I installed. Spectacle was by default. Vim was by default. It does come with a help, and it comes up as apparently as native on your system, which that's pretty nice. About the help center. It does come with this Discover store, and I have actually used it just to see if it works. And it does. It was. Now watch it not. And there it is. Let's see. I don't think there is a... What about more actions? No, let's click that and see what happens. Yeah. Now you can see how unfamiliar I am with it. I do know here's the search, and you can just type in anything you know the name of and see if it's there. And if it is, you're good to go. Or you can go to these different categories: games, graphics, etc. So that does have that going for it as well. I think I'm going to need to wrap this video up. I'm sure it's gone a lot longer than I wanted to. Now, this is based on Ubuntu Debian, and those are pretty stable systems. And other than the VirtualBox thing, that really has been the only crash that I have had. Now, I will say again, when I was using Wayland, I tried 3 different attempts to record this same exact video, and I don't know how this one's going to turn out. I hadn't watched it yet. It might have the same problem. But if it don't have the same problems, I'm good to go. And it was glitching out. The audio and the video was both glitching out. I tried with Simple Screen Recorder. I ended up installing in the virtual machine. I installed or recorded that using Voco Screen. I had to use Voco Screen. And then instead of adding audio, I just took screenshots. So that's going to do it for this video. If you're interested, go to DistroWatch or br-os.com. I mean, who knows? It's only been out here a little while. It might be a great, great system. You know, when I'm saying it's not made for creators, I don't know if GStreamers and all these other transcoders and etc. are installed by default. Every program that I've installed seems to work just fine. And I didn't have to do anything, change anything in the audio. I didn't have to add any codecs or install anything to try to get another program to work. Everything did just seem to work, with the exception of the VirtualBox. So that's going to do it for this video. Peace out, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on another video. Bye.